All right, let's get to the next topic, UFOs. Had to shove this one in there just because it's too good and there's so many developments. So let's back up a little bit. As I outlined actually to RFK Jr. when he was like, are you aware of this whistleblower? I was like, brother, who do you think you're talking to here? Yes, we're aware. Dave Grush, the whistleblower, has come forward from the intelligence community alleging that there are multiple alien spacecraft inside the U.S. government possession. Okay, so that interview has already come forward. It's been over an hour long that's been released. I encourage everybody to go and watch it. That's on News Nation. It's on their YouTube channel as well. Many of the allegations in there are absolutely stunning. So the next question is, how are Congress going to handle it? Because part of what Dave Grush is saying is you guys were lied to, is that the Pentagon is quite literally lying to you about all of these existence of the programs, about the developments inside of the building. Well, actually, they've gone ahead and actually been asked about it. So let's put this up there with some really revealing quotes. These are all compiled by Matt Lasla over at Wired, who asked some of these senators. Senator Warner, quote, there's been a lot incoming. Frankly, I just need to find out more information on this. But here was the really interesting quote from Senator Hawley. Quote, I'm not surprised by these latest allegations because it sounds pretty close to what they kind of grudgingly admitted to us in the briefing. It's not good. None of it's good. We want to get to the bottom of this. I think it's disturbing. Senator Gillibrand, also, who has been a real leader on the topic, says, quote, I have no idea. I'm going to do the work and analyze it and figure it out. We need to look at whether there are rogue special access programs that no one is providing oversight for. The goal for me will be having a hearing on that at some point so that we can assess if these special access programs actually exist. So if there are special access programs out there that are somehow outside of the normal chain of command and outside the normal appropriations process, they have to divulge that to Congress. Now, the reason why that is so important is that one of the allegations here that's come forward, Krystal, is that there is actually basically rogue spending and budgeting going on outside of the normal system in order to cover up what Gillibrand is alleging there, which are unique special access programs that the American people have never been notified about, nor do they have any oversight of, including of Congress.
Yeah.
This is kind of gets to maybe why the Pentagon can't pass any audits. I'm not saying that this isn't just it's just UFOs, like that's the entirety of it. I'm saying things are designed in such a way such that assessing and auditing and taking it actual note of where the money is going is probably to the benefit of several black programs that are out there. And what really Dave Grush is alleging is that this has been going on for decades, which would fit with a pattern of cover-up of inside of the Pentagon. So that's number one that I wanted to bring everybody. Number two is an equally fascinating piece from Vanity Fair. Let's go and put this up there on the screen. And it gives a little bit of the background. Why did the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Politico not publish the report that was brought forward outlining Dave Grush's allegations? So as they lay out, Ralph Blumenthal spent 45 years on staff at the New York Times. Leslie Kean literally, wrote with Ralph Blumenthal the 2017 story on UFOs that debuted in the New York Times. Why did they turn it down? Well, according to Charlotte Klein, she's a media reporter over there who spoke with some people behind the scenes, the Times straight up decided not to publish this piece, Krystal. They just decided, nope, we're not touching this. They tried to report it, but weren't able to get to the bottom. The second thing is the Washington Post is denying. They're like, we didn't turn it down. They're like, what it is that we were reporting it out. As in, they had accepted the piece, or not accepted it, but they'd looked at it and they were like, well, we want to hammer this out. We want to ask some more senators and stuff about it. Well, what Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal are saying is that the reason why it ended up here in the debrief is that Politico, the Washington Post, and the Washington Post did not want to allow enough time, or wanted to allow way more time to add more context and facts.
Right.
The issue is that Grush's identity apparently was beginning to leak out in the UFO community, and he was getting contacted by some interesting people who were out there. And so Leslie Kean and Ralph Blumenthal said it was of the utmost importance to get this out as soon as humanly possible because his identity would otherwise leak. They would lose, the scope of the story and the control on the story.
Yeah.
That's ultimately why it ended up over there at the debrief. But it is clear the Times just straight up turned it down, which, look, this could be the scoop of the century, if it all ends up being true. And for some reason, there's clearly a lot of squeamishness that's going on. I'm in contact with people in the UFO community, researchers and others. I know that sounds funny, but these are very serious people, okay? And what they've told me too, Krystal, is behind the scenes, a lot of media outlets, individual reporters, they're interested. But from the top down, they're like, no, you can't cover this. You can't have any real scrutiny of this at all, which, you know, to me, I'm reading this quote from Holly, from Gillibrand and all this. I mean, it seems pretty real.
Yeah.
It seems very real that they're taking, show me one of them that says this guy sounds like a crank. Every single one said, hey, we got to take this real seriously. I mean, they know. They know cranks from non-cranks whenever they have to look at.
They have a lot of interaction with cranks.
Yeah, including many of their colleagues. Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
My guess is that there's so much like decorum and like appearance humping over at the New York Times.
Well said.
That they're just like afraid of looking ridiculous, you know? And so even though they could have reported it out, even though these are serious, credible reporters.
Yes.
With a track record who ended up reporting out this piece. So this isn't just like some, crank weirdo who's obsessed with UFOs. Like these are, real, legitimate journalists that the New York Times has experience working with too, by the way. And so that would be my guess, is they just they're afraid of looking ridiculous. They're afraid of stepping outside of the bounds of what you're supposed to think and what you're supposed to say. So they just take a pass.
Yes.
I mean, they didn't even come up with an excuse. The Post and Politico were like, we totally would have done it, but just didn't have the time.
Here's another reason why it's so important. Look, you cannot dismiss some things that are just straight up facts. Friend Jeremy Corbell and George Knapp, they released actually one of the forms of the disclosure of urgent concerns and the complaint of reprisal, actually from Dave Grush, which is signed by him, completely unclassified, and also signed by his lawyer. Let's go ahead and put this, please, guys, up on the screen. This is a screenshot from what Jeremy Corbell released over on the Weaponized podcast. And as you can see here, read the allegations that Dave Grush says here. Mr. Grush previously served as a fully cleared member of the United States government UAP task force. He has direct knowledge that certain IC elements have purposefully and intentionally withheld and concealed UAP-related classified information from the U.S. Congress. He has direct knowledge that this classified information has been withheld and concealed by the involved IC elements to purposefully and intentionally thwart legitimate congressional oversight of the UAP program. UAP is another way of saying UFO. And he said specifically that in July of 2021, he confidentially provided UAP-related classified information to the Department of Defense Inspector General. This is literally almost over a 2-year process that has been playing out behind the scenes. And we have here his genuine signature by his lawyers that he's testifying before this, and that has been brought forward as part of a whistleblower complaint given to the Inspector General, which was then received and said that they were urgent and they needed to be looked into. I don't know what else we can really lay out for people. And yet behind the scenes also, what we have seen is the Pentagon is continuing basically to call him a straight up liar. The Pentagon and the UAP task force, Susan Go, who's one of the spokespeople over there, she came out and she was just like, yeah, this is totally untrue. There's no existence of any of these programs. United States Air Force came out with a statement just being like, yeah, look, ever since Project Blue Book and all of that closed the door, there's no reason that we should even be looking into this. The cover up is happening in plain sight. The only hope we have are these congressional representatives and whether they're actually going to get to the bottom of it. But really what we're looking at here is a vast conspiracy of people who have been covering this up now for decades, special access programs, or Grush is straight up psychotic. All these other people that have come forward to Michael Schellenberger and all of that, look, yeah, maybe they're just stone cold crazy. It's very possible. It's certainly possible, but watch the interview. Maybe. Look, I've seen hucksters out there before, but this many people, this level of seriousness, the testimony to his character and all of that, the fact that he was vetted by Jeremy Corbell, by Leslie Keane, by Ralph Blumen, these are all people who've met a lot of crazy people out there, before, and they don't just bring these things forward without any recourse. I believe him. I believe him whenever he talks.
So what do you say to, like in Vanity Fair, they were like, okay, you have a track record of a credible person, you have other people who are corroborating your claims, but where's the evidence? Where's the photo? Where's the material? Right. Where's the something? Because I do think it's reasonable for people to say, okay, this is an unbelievable, it's a literally unbelievable claim. And so in order for us to take this seriously, you're gonna have to give us a little something more than just some chitty chat.
Well, guess what? It's classified. I don't think everybody keeps forgetting that. He has to come forward through the official whistleblower process. He can't just leak classified information. They're going to lock him up. They're going to throw him in jail. Right. So he can't, first of all, he even said, I never saw anything. I just saw the existence of the program. That's not what he's alleging. What he's alleging is, I know that these programs exist. I'm not saying I saw it. He's never claimed to be some sort of eyewitness. He said, I've, seen people would testify the forward. Okay, so we need those names and we need to get them under oath and bring them before Congress. But what he has claimed, first, I'm glad that you brought that up. He has to deal with the U.S. government and their classification regime. If he leaks something like that, it's the easiest pretext in the world to throw him in jail literally for the rest of his life. Look at Edward Snowden or Julian Assange about what's happening to them. Would you have confidence about bringing that forward? No.
Yeah.
You absolutely can't. So,
although they could even go after him just for what he's already revealed.
Well, I mean, from what I've understood, it's not like they're making his life all that easy right now. So look, let's just keep all of this in mind, as we move forward and as we continue to ask our congressional representatives to actually take up the mantle and, maybe try and get to the bottom of this.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.